Your your Darkmount review actually got me to thinking because Drift and Darkmount probably are the biggest advances in Transformers articulation we've seen in a while.
Or at least the biggest accumulation of joints on a single toy.
Well, yeah. And it just got me to thinking of some of the basically my favorite advances over the years and the toys that I really enjoyed. I think the first Transformer that ever really impressed me with articulation were the G2 Hero figures of Optimus Prime and Megatron. Of course, the Transformers before that were, of course, barely even action figures, so that's kind of to be expected.
With a few exceptions, yeah.
Yeah, a few exceptions. I think,
I understand Galvatron was pretty nice.
well, he was nice for that line in that he had knees.
There you go.
I I I did always like that. I mean, even though G1 Prime's knees were useless because of how his legs transformed, I liked that he had them.
Hmm.
But I was always a strange child because I always hated even at 3 years old, I remember thinking how absolutely unnatural the Kenner Star Wars figures were. I mean, really, they look like they should be laid out in coffins. They really do.
It's not that you were a strange child, it's just that you were an incredibly advanced toy reviewer.
Probably.
Okay, so where do you go from that?
Well, strangely, it's very largely a list of Optimus Primes. I get the feeling that Hasbro and Takara really do put the most effort into those. But from there on, of course, there's the Armada Supercon Prime, which I'm not sure how much I really have to say about that because the fact that they reused it, I don't even know how many times really I think speaks to its quality,
Yeah, or its simplicity.
or both.
One or the other. It's probably not really an important distinction anyway.
No, but it was what got me back into Transformers actually. So
Yes, I recall.
yeah,
Because I believe I harassed you until you bought one.
I believe you did. Yes,
I'm good
and
at that. Well, I think special mention here also needs to go out to Classics Mirage.
yes, definitely, because that really is an insanely flexible toy. Double joints just at all the knees and elbows, as I recall.
Hmm.
Be nice if I actually had it like on me, but didn't think of that.
I think it also has double jointed shoulders.
Now that you mention it, yeah,
So yeah, it can basically do anything you want it to.
yeah, and it's another one that they reused to death for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I'm
I,
happy to have
I
the three main uses of it though.
yeah, I only have Mirage and Fracture, but I'm pretty pleased with that. One that stands out just because it's so much fun to mess with is the 10th anniversary Optimus Primal mold, or Jungle Planet Optimus Prime, of which is how I got it.
Right, me too.
Yeah, and because I missed out on Beast Wars because I was an idiot,
Uh-huh.
uh, I think it's a much better follow up on Beast Wars style toys than uh, the more recent things like Universe Cheetor and Dinobot. The articulation is much more similar to what they were actually doing at the time.
Right.
Uh, I The Beast Wars line seemed to be really heavily into ball joints, but they made really good use of it.
It was their new toy at the time, so I mean,
Yeah,
going back to what you were saying about the Optimus Primes tending to figure heavily into your list. It strikes me that that might just be because primes are relatively simple in transformation, being that it turns from a box on wheels into a robot.
that could well be. Yeah, I think that we've seen some obvious examples where the transformation really does inhibit everything.
Yes, Masterpiece Prime.
I don't know. I don't think it's the transformation that inhibits him as badly as the diecast does.
I believe the diecast helps the indie transformation to inhibit him.
Probably, but all I
Also,
know
the
is
fact that it's the size of a football.
Well, yeah, that does not help, and the fact that his feet cannot actually withstand the weight of his legs in most poses is, well, the kiss of death.
It is a bit troubling, yes. Okay, so anything between like Mirage and
And now,
yeah,
oh, actually, there is one example. I think animated swoop in particular was very nice and flexible.
it's pretty flexible, although the actual articulation seems kind of restrictive in some ways.
I
Partic-
suppose that's true.
Particularly with the odd angles the shoulder and elbow joints go at.
Well, yeah, they kind of remind me of Revoltech and the predecessor line with Robot Museum with some of the strange angled cut joints they like to indulge in.
Yeah, that does seem kind of like an issue there.
Yeah, just to go off on a brief tangent, I really did not like Revoltech until I got Gurren Lagann, which uses no cut joints and all revolver joints everywhere, and it's absolutely the best of those I've gotten.
Not that you're like biased toward Gurren Lagann at all.
Oh no, not at all.
But talking about animated, there's also the few animated primes.
Yeah, those were Cybertron Prime in particularly. I really did enjoy, but that was I I don't know if it was because of the articulation so much as it was just a nice, really balanced toy. It was well articulated and it transformed well, and it had the least ridiculous accessories of all the animated primes.
You didn't care for the Tupac giant axe.
It was okay, but for some reason I just like the more modest axe that Cybertron Prime comes with.
Mm. Although in all other regards, I think the Tupac Optimus is pretty much on par with the Cybertronian one.
I would say so. I'm not a big fan of the spring-loaded punch gimmick, which
No, but until somebody mentioned that it had it a little while ago, I kind of forgot it was even there.
that's true. It doesn't really obstruct much of anything. It just means you can't really turn the waist you can't the way you can on Cybertron Prime. So
Which I'm not really missing with this figure, but
fair enough.
your mileage will vary. But yeah, Drift and Darkmount seem to be in kind of a new league here.
Yeah, they really are. Well, we've listed just about the best of the past, and I don't think anything really gets close to what they can do.
Not really, maybe Mirage,
Maybe Mirage, but of course since he didn't have any really interesting hand-to-hand weapons, he didn't have the kind of wrist articulation we're seeing now.
right? He's just got hinges for transformation.
Yeah, I'm really liking what they're doing with wrists and with Darkmount. But this is the first time I've really enjoyed the changes they're making to hands. I was fully convinced with some of the things like Power Core Combiner's Huffer that Hasbro was trying to solve a problem that they did not actually have.
Which was
That typically up to now Transformers fists have just been big dull blocks that sort of look like hands. And if they serve their purpose of holding weapons, I really don't care.
yeah,
But Darkmount has some nice looking hands that do everything you could want them to do, and if they're
and
going to,
more.
yes, and if they're going to mess with their hand formula, I think Darkmount is definitely a step in the right direction.
It's a great pattern to work from, yeah.
Yeah, so
Because in cases in the past where there's been just articulated hands, it's basically impossible to get them to hold standard accessories.
yeah,
There's just not enough tension in the joints.
yeah, and whoever worked up Darkmount's hands is probably a genius because this really is the best hand I've seen in ages.
Yeah, I can't really think of one better for being able to hold the widest variety of things.
Yeah,
Now, Air Attack Optimus Primal, which is an awesome toy all together. Its fingers are great because of how articulate they are, but that's mostly for less than functional reasons.
yeah, just for appearance's sake more than anything. He doesn't come with any hand accessories, does he?
No,
Yeah.
no, he came with like two or three little discs to shoot out of his chest.
Ah, right. I still need to get that one.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Darkmount elbows too. I went to some length on that in my review, but it's a really clever step.
It is, and the worst part is you mentioned how you wouldn't know that the wrist joint was there if if the you didn't see the hand in a different position.
Hmm.
I didn't actually know that second elbow joint was there until you mentioned it.
Well, to be fair though, you only had it for you had a day less than I did.
Yeah, I had it for maybe what 1.5 afternoons, but by the time your review went up, so
Something
it
like
was
that,
new.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of excusable.
Yeah, it's not my usual inattentiveness. This was just newness. So.
There's also the fact that the joints in Darkmount's arms are on the tight side, so it's
Hmm.
it's not exactly easy to accidentally move that sideways elbow joint.
Yeah, it basically if you're not actually looking directly at the forearm or somebody didn't tell you, it's pretty easy to miss. But
Yeah, but it's great once you discover it.
yes, it is. And I probably should have noticed it earlier because I knew there was some reason that it was fairly easy for him to hold that pickaxe. But
Yeah, I'd really like to see more stuff in the vein of Drift and Darkmount,
yeah,
and even just Darkmount itself.
yeah, I'm glad we're already getting a reuse for the mold because even I don't even remember who the character is, but I'll probably end up getting it.
Skullgrin.
Ah, yeah, that should be fun.
But yeah, I mean, Drift has pretty specialized articulation to work with the swords.
I'm going to be interested to see how well that works with Blur's guns.
The biggest thing the Drift mold does to work specially with its weapons is the way the wrist hinges.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there's not really any innovation in its articulation.
no, it's just a really fairly solid example of what we'd been seeing up to now on the best
Hmm.
of the Transformers.
I would say Darkmount's the first one to bring a real innovation into this in a while.
Yeah, I think you're right that there's more new going on here than I've seen on any single Transformer in a while, and it all works, which is the best part.
I want to see them play around with this kind of formula more in the future.
Yeah,
I was noting on Allspark just earlier tonight that for the same place we are in Generations that we were with the Universe 2 years ago, I am a lot happier with the overall product.
yeah, I'd say that Generations is coming up on classics in terms of quality because I Universe was just not quite there. It was with a lot of its transformations. I just thought it was over ambitious.
It was Alternators Junior.
Yeah, exactly. Not my favorite style.
No, and I figure Darkmount is basically Generations equivalent to Galvatron from Universe. And if
Yeah,
if you can really say that's the case, then we're doing really well in the quality of these figures.
good point. It really is because I mean Galvatron has his strong points, but
Not
I
many.
no, I can't remember the last time I transformed him without popping pieces off and putting them back when I was done.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I transformed him. And I
Yeah, that's
like the Galvatron toy. But yeah, we're definitely getting some really nicely articulated stuff, and I hope it continues for the foreseeable future.
yeah, me too. Just to go back to the comparison for a second, I think you're right. In Generations, as a line, is doing so much better than Universe, and I think it's taking things in a good direction.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. Of course, I haven't actually handled War for Cybertron Bumblebee, so.
Well, yeah, he's the outlier. We hope.
Well, at least we can probably count on that one to only be reused once.
Yes, and I don't think I need a cliff jumper that badly.